Just start whenever you're ready. Because
Okay.
I think you're the first slide, right? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
right.
Do you see the little, yeah, we're recording. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Ben. This is Shrikar. We're going to introduce ourselves in a second, but welcome to the Midsure layout and submissions process presentation. My name is Ben. I am one of the undergraduate research ambassadors with the IRCA office. I'm from Swartz Creek, Michigan in the Flint area. I study physiology, and my former research on campus was in the Department of Pharmacology and Toxicology, where I studied how these chemicals known as unsaturated fatty acids affect your health during aging. And in the future, I want to go into public health.
Hey everyone, I'm Shrikar. I just completed my junior year, so I'm gonna be a senior this upcoming year. My hometown is Northville, Michigan. I'm both a human bio and nutritional sciences double major, and I'm doing a minor in public health right now. My research focuses on food science and human nutrition. Right now, we're looking at kind of the nutritional content differences in conventional and pasture-raised hen eggs. And some future plans. I'm applying to medical school right now, and I want to focus kind of on the intersection between nutrition, health, and medicine.
Today, we hope that you are going to have the skills in order to successfully prepare for Midsure. We want to introduce you to what presenting your research in a virtual platform is going to look like. We want to specifically talk about some of the resources you can find on the online submission portal known as My Spartan Story. And of course, we want to answer any last minute questions you might have about preparing for Midsure or what to expect from Midsure. So just an introduction to this presentation. Midsure is going to be on a platform called Symposium. It is an online database, essentially, where everyone can upload their posters as well as their 2 to 5 minute YouTube videos. And it's just a place that kind of amalgamates all of it. So all presentations have to be pre-recorded, and these are going to be due on they all have to be uploaded onto Symposium by July 25th at midnight. One really cool thing about Symposium is that it allows you to communicate with other people. So there's a chat box on it where you can ask questions, you can give feedback, and you can network in a way with other students that are presenting. If you are a Michigan State student and presented at if you presented at URAP, you'll know that there's an evaluation to it. So you might get feedback from a judge. Midsure is a little bit different where you're not going to get this formal feedback. However, we do encourage students to interact with each other. And if you have any family or friends that you really want to share your research with, they can get in on the action too. Symposium's free to everyone. They just have to make sure to make a Symposium account before they can leave any comments on your work. This is what Symposium looks like when you first enter the website. So it tries to capture that feeling of seeing all of your posters there. Like I said, this isn't just for the undergraduates who are presenting. If you have any family or friends, or maybe the people in your research groups back at your home university want to check this out, you can definitely invite them to come on by. However, like I kind of alluded to earlier, you need a Symposium account if you want to leave any comments. This is a more zoomed in version of what Symposium is going to look like. So after you enter the Midsure dashboard, you're going to get this page where you can see all of the different posters. And it's a way that you can sort by different filters. So this is an outdated one. This is from URAP, where it was only Michigan State students. So we could sort it by college, but now you're able to sort by by the theme of the presentation. And you can all figure that out if you go on your My Spartan Story, what category you're going to be in. There's also a search bar where, let's say, you're just really interested in pianos and you want to learn more about pianos. You can type in the word piano and see if anyone's researching that. Likewise, if your friend is researching or presenting their research rather, you can type in someone's name, or if you know their specific number, you can type in that. Once you find your presentation, you're going to click on it, of course, and it's going to give you this screen. This is essentially what we're all working on putting together right now. So your dashboard in Symposium is going to have the title of your research project. It's going to have your research number, which you've been assigned. It's going to have your mentors' names. But kind of the meat and potatoes here is we're going to have your poster that's going to be right next to your YouTube video. And below, you're going to see your abstract. So this is really cool because it puts it all in one spot. So we can see kind of in real time you narrating your poster as well as what your finished project is looking like. Now on this screen, if you kind of scroll down, you are going to be able to see this chat box feature. And this is going to be the way that you can interact with the people who come to your poster. So this is still going to be an asynchronous event in sorts, meaning that that you can respond without really talking to them in real time. And this is why it's important that you are checking your email, the one that you registered for My Spartan Story with, or rather the mid-year presentation. Just because every time someone leaves you this feedback, you're going to get an email. And it's pretty important to just recognize the people that come to your presentation. So you might be wondering, I have no idea what category I'm in. I don't know what time my official slot I'm supposed to be available is, or something like that. So here I'm breaking down how you can find that. So all of this information is located on My Spartan Story. My Spartan Story isn't exactly the most user-friendly website in the world, so hopefully this helps. So when you log into your account, there's this green sidebar over here. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click on the undergraduate research tab, and it's going to give you a drop down. And you're going to want to click on Midsure, and then you can find the Midsure 2021 page, which is going to give you this screen right here. And in the bottom right-hand corner, there is a black circle. It's called something very fancy, like an action button. So you're going to want to click on your action button, and you're going to be able to see this button called My Midsure Presentations. And then it's going to give you this screen right here, where for whatever reason, if you have multiple presentations going on at Midsure, it's going to give you all of them. And there's going to be a drop-down button that says View, and you can view in a new tab, and it's going to show you what you submitted. And this is going to show you your abstract and your mentors and all that good stuff. But at the very bottom, it's going to show you what your time slot is, what your presentation number is, and what category you have been sorted into.
Yeah, so presentation submissions, you're going to be submitting a poster presentation, and then there's this link here that we're going to be putting in the chat, kind of just explaining what we're going to be explaining right now. Basically, it's a PDF, less than 10 megabytes. And then in addition with that poster, you're going to have a video poster pitch, which will be a uploaded YouTube video, which will be 2 to 5 minutes long. And we're going to be going over like what kind of you need to say in that pitch. And then some things to consider, accessibility wise, use closed captioning in your video, and then also image description. Yeah, so Ben kind of went over this. You're submitting the presentation in Symposium. Check your email frequently for any updates or even any comments that are left on your presentation. And then group presentations are allowed also. Just make sure you submit only one poster and one video per presentation number. So if you have a group of 2 or 3, it's just um, a group of you submitting one poster. And then your title should be submitted, should be the same as you submitted on your like My Spartan story when you registered. But your abstract can be edited. And then these are some important dates. So the presentation uploaded to Symposium should be done by July 25th. There's a mandatory RCR training that should be completed as well for MSU students. And that should be done before you upload your presentation or when you upload your presentation. And then for mid-year will be held on July 28th. That's on a Wednesday. Just make sure on that day you respond to any comments which you should receive on your email. And you could also visit any other presentations. So this is like kind of details on what's going to be on your poster. There isn't like any one way to kind of put any content in your poster. It's kind of like individual how you decide to do it. But these are just some important components that you need. You need a title, a list of authors, an institutional logo or a sponsoring organization, an introduction, methodology, methods, discussion results section, or implication conclusions depending on what your research kind of is about. And then you don't need to put your abstract on your poster. It takes up too much space and it's more of an individual choice if you want it in or not. And this is one important point to remember is that your poster isn't your whole story. It's kind of just the main idea of what you want to say. So you want to expand on, in your YouTube video, you kind of want to expand on what your poster is getting across and use your poster as more of a guide instead of telling the whole, like telling every detail. Also, just some other logistics, make sure you ask a professor or another kind of student in your lab to proofread your poster. And you could also just share your video pitch to someone else for additional feedback. So for the YouTube video, you kind of want to do an elevator pitch. So it's going to be 2 to 5 minutes. You want to use easy to understand language, and we're going to have an example on the next slide, kind of exemplifying what that looks like. So some kind of questions that you want to answer. What are you researching? Why is your research important? And how does it contribute to your discipline or society? Yeah, so this is just kind of an example of elevator pitch. This would be kind of like the introductory part of the video before you get into like the nitty gritty of like the different sections of your poster. So I'll read it out loud. I work alongside computer scientists, biologists, and engineers to analyze cancer patient data collected from hospitals and labs all over the world. We use this data to make predictions about cancer-causing genes and pathways that we can later test in biological experiments. So just some things I like about this. They use very easy language that's comprehensible, even though you're not in the field of study. Just so you know, like the overall idea of what the undergraduate research is trying to get across. And yeah, so before you kind of record your video, you want to practice it for sure. Okay. Sorry about that. So you want to make sure to practice your presentation with both someone who's in your field and someone who's not in your field. It's definitely easier to talk to your research to someone who already knows what your research is about, just because they know the ins and outs but it's definitely a lot harder to talk about your research to somebody who um, may not be more familiar with the concepts you're trying to explain, and those could be some of your judges as well. So it would definitely be better to practice both ways. And also, last point, keep in mind that this is a public event, so do not share intellectual property. So this is what a sample judging form looks like. And I'm just gonna go through each of the sections they kind of grade on. So the first one's delivery, then comprehensibility, the significance of your study, the elements of your poster presentation, the current status of your study. And this section, it doesn't have to be complete. You could say something like pending for publication or pending for further research. And kind of visual aids, so like how your poster looks like. Yeah, so kind of wrapping it up here, before Mitcher, just make sure you keep checking your emails for updates from the Office of Undergraduate Research. These are links that we're gonna be, I'll put in the chat, and they're helpful for like stuff we just went over, and they provide more instructions on how to create the YouTube videos and kind of upload them. And then during Mitcher, make sure you check messages daily and respond to questions, just like Ben said, and then share your experience on social media. So we have a hashtag that you could use on our, like on your Instagrams or Twitter when you're sharing your research, hashtag Mitcher 2021. These are our social media platforms that you can follow. I know they always put up like other research opportunities that's going around campus or in Michigan. Oh, and also be sure to visit other presentations, whether that's in your field or outside of your field. Yeah, and then this time is for any questions. I see there's a couple in the chat. We do have peer advising still this summer. If you are interested in that, you could go onto the Yurko website.
Yeah, so there are a few in the chat. I think the first one was about the Instagram challenge bullet point that you had earlier, if you want to go back.
Yeah, Ben, could you go?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I gotta navigate my PowerPoint here. So one way that, so I guess this is to knock out two birds with one stone. There is no formal judging process. That judging feedback form we use during but those are all great things that you should try and accomplish during your mid-year presentation. So even though someone isn't going to be ranking you 1 through 5 on these things, you should still be mindful of what kind of visual aids you're using, talking about why your project is significant, and among the other things, just because those are some things that students struggle with when they're conveying their research to a lay audience. So back to the Instagram challenge, we're not doing that for mid-year. So we're trying to engage students to visit each other by basically having you post on Instagram what your favorite poster is, what your favorite topic was at mid-year, as well as who made your favorite poster, like who made the best visually appealing poster to you. So we're hoping that people are going to interact with each other, tag each other on Instagram. And then when you do this, you're going to be entered into a raffle drawing for some gift cards.
Awesome. Since you kind of answered the judging questions, we'll skip a couple of those. The next
Yeah.
will we have access? Oh, go ahead, Sikar.
Oh yeah, just for the judging, I didn't think I made it clear. It's kind of for you to use as a way to like for what you want to say in your kind of video presentation, what to put on your poster. There is no actual formal judging process.
Awesome. And the next question was, do they have access to this recording? Will they have access to it after this presentation?
Yes, we're gonna upload it to the Yurko website. It should be under like the mid-sure section. Yeah, it should be there.
All right, then we have a few questions about closed captioning voiceover. So somebody said for the video, should it be a voiceover showing the poster or should it be an actual video of yourself speaking? And then we had another question about how to turn on closed captioning for YouTube.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter for the video. I know for URAF, I did like a screen record of my poster and then just did a voiceover over it. You could do that on Zoom. Also, I just find it easier to do it on Zoom and then download it and then kind of upload it on YouTube like that. You could put your face in it as well. We always like seeing faces, but it's not required.
I know some people, you can like record your voice on PowerPoint. Some people do that. My laptop just allows me to like record my screen and record audio. So I'm pretty sure that's how I did it. Yeah, basically anything that can grab your screen, you can use it with.
Yeah, I'd also recommend Zoom because you can present and then record yourself with Zoom and just you do your own personal meeting room. The next question I see in the order is, do we need to be on the Symposium platform during our time, or are we just answering questions during our time?
You don't have to be on the platform. You could just be answering questions. That's correct.
Yeah, I guess the most important thing would be like be around your laptop or whatever device you're using, just because people, you're gonna get an email whenever someone like leaves a message for you, and then the email is just gonna link you back to Symposium. So I guess the best answer would be to have both email and Symposium open. But I don't know how often Symposium refreshes itself. And someone did ask about closed captioning. Um, I know that PowerPoint has a function if you're using that where it'll like automatically generate them. Also, YouTube has a similar function where you can upload a video and it's gonna like do a voice recognition thing. And then you can go through and edit the script.
So just to clarify, during our time slot, we will just be answering questions through the chat function. We won't be like live answering questions or anything like that.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Yeah, there'd be no live answering. It's more like you would get a notification if somebody asks you a question and you can answer that on, it's like, it's more like you want to answer it during your time slot. So you could have kind of like a back and forth kind of thing. But it's not really required to.
Okay, because that was another question I had is people can message us outside of our time slot, correct? Like
Yeah.
just the time slot is kind of like a general guidance for when I should be responding to questions.
Yeah, and your time slot kind of corresponds to like other people in your field also. So other people in your field should be having similar time slots. So it gives you a chance to kind of talk to them as well during the same time.
Okay, so during our time slot, we don't have to be glued to our presentation. We can be looking around at other people who are on the same time slot.
No, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I guess one good way to describe it is we're going to contrast this to URAF for those of you who did that. Like for URAF last year, it was like over the course of a week. So like you would just like randomly get an email and then, you know, you might not hear back for another day or whatever. So we're trying to condense that down into like an hour and a half or however long your block is.
Okay, the next question I see in the order. If we have multiple presenters for one presentation, is only one person supposed to sign up and list the other as a co-presenter, or are we both supposed to register?
Only one person should register and then have like you put them as a co-presenter. that way you only have one like presentation number.
Okay, perfect. And then this one, I'm unsure of the wording of the question, but I think it's, is there no live video or feed playing the videos during that time? Katie, I'm not sure if you want to clarify.
Yeah, I can clarify. I'm sorry if it's confusing. I've just done like 3 or 4 different conferences and they're all different. So I'm just trying to figure out how it's set up. So like, is there going to be like on Symposium, like, are they just like on Symposium, like going to be playing the videos like back to back, or is that just not a thing?
No, it won't be back to back. It's more like you yourself would have to go and kind of search for or browse presentations that you want to see.
Okay, thank you.
Speaking of Symposium, we have a question about the accounts. Do we have to create a Symposium account, or is this connected to our MSU Mid-Sure submission portal?
Ben, do you know? Yes.
Yeah, I believe that you have to make a separate Symposium account. It's super easy to sign up for, but one important thing you should be mindful of is that when you register for Symposium, just use the email that you use the most. So like if you're an MSU student, like you should probably use your msu.edu account, just if, you know, in case you're expecting a bunch of emails from Symposium.
And I just put the website on the chat if anybody wants to see it. Somebody asked, is there any special requirements for non-MSU students?
No, they aren't. I know when you registered, you have to do that Google form. But other than that, there is no requirements because Symposium's kind of like its own thing. So.
And somebody, I missed the question, my apologies, Caitlin. Someone asked, what is RCR again? And does this apply to non-MSU students?
It doesn't apply to non-MSU students. RCR is like the mandatory training. I did it a while ago. It was for like research integrity, right? Right, Ben?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like a module type of thing where you just have to complete it to get your certification that you like had integrity for your research.
I just pulled up Symposium just because we had a lot of questions about it. This is what our last research forum looked like. So this is the landing page. And then what you folks are all working on right now are your presentations. So when you log in, or rather sign up, you're gonna be able to, you're gonna edit essentially what your poster view is gonna look like. So it's gonna look something like this. Here's your poster and here is your pitch. And as you can see, this person decided to put their face in the video. And did they put closed captioning on?
Hello, and welcome to my poster presentation.
I really cannot tell right now because the Zoom bar is right there. But if you scroll down to the bottom, this is the comments where this is going to be what generates the email. So if I were to type something right here, it would send Riley Google an email and it would say, oh, Ben Kessler wrote you a thing on your presentation. So then he could go and respond to my answer there. So I hope that clarified a couple of things.
Okay, and I just linked the RCR website for some people who are asking. You should be able to just click the web page and then RCR on that, and then you will be able to figure out how to sign up for the class for it. We got a couple questions about time slots. So when will we receive our time slot?
You've all been slotted already. So if you go to your My Spartan story, following the instructions that we showed you in the PowerPoint, you can go and see what category you've been assigned and what time slot you've been assigned. So I believe there's only 2 time slots for this year.
Yeah, I think that's correct too. Somebody's asking you to go back to the judging rubric slide. They just wanted to write down some of those suggested topics. So if you could share your screen again, Ben.
Yeah, sure.
The judging rubric slide. And then Jesse, did you want to clarify which Google form you're talking about? The question was, what Google form do you mean? But I'm not sure which one we're talking about.
Oh, I think it's for like the non-MSU students. I don't know if it was a Google form, but it was they have to fill out like an additional form, right, for their information.
I think they would have already completed it, right? Is that correct, Ben?
Yeah, I was talking about like for the registration process. Yeah.
Yeah, Jesse, I think you've already completed that.
Yeah.
Just to even sign up for this entire process, you probably have already completed it, so no worries.
Yeah.
Did I miss anybody's question? I know there were a couple of repeats and I just kind of grouped them together, but if you had more detailed question, you're more than welcome to ask it or, type it in the chat.
And I'll be also releasing like an exit poll if you guys could please fill that out. It's just like a couple multiple choice questions.
Looks like we got another question. If we have questions after this presentation, where can we go?
Feel free to email either Shrikar or myself. We can drop our emails in the chat. I would also recommend checking out our peer advising hours. Let me go to that slide. You can reach out to the IRCA website's email address, and we can hook you up with someone like Shrikar and myself. And we can have a personal one-on-one session where we can just talk about anything that you may have questions about. And here's my email.
And somebody asked about the Midshare link. I just linked that. It's app.mystory.msu.edu. And you can log in as a student or non-MSU student. And you should be able to see your time slot down below, as well as your I think section number.
Ben, I think somebody wanted you to go back to the time slot slide.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like with the instructions.
This one right here. So essentially what you have to do is you just have to go to this landing page for Midshare 2021 on My Spartan Story. And then you're gonna click on the black action button and it's gonna link you to your presentation. And since you've last looked at it, you'll probably see that like we, the staff, have added additional information, and that's probably what you're most interested in.
Are there any other questions? Any questions I might have missed? Thank you, Shrikar, for noticing that one.
If there aren't any more, I'd like to thank you all for making some time to come to this presentation. If you have any more burning questions, feel free to email any of us or come to our advising hours, which, like I said, you can sign up for those by emailing that account. And best of luck with your research and presenting at Midsure.
So we have one more question. Sorry, Ben.
Oh.
They just put it in the chat. Says, I see my presentation, however, I don't see my time. What do I hit to see the time?
I would recommend, I think you have to click this button called View, and then that's going to take you into your submission. So that might be the step you're missing. If not, you can stay after and you can share our screen and we can try and work through it.
That was for Katie, I believe, Katie Hickley, if you want to stay after.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, take care, everyone.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. Good luck.